Yeah, welcome here everyone to our Trent Lakes municipal election debate. We have a lot of candidates and a lot of positions up, and just welcome everyone here. My name is Joel Weeb. I'm the Government Relations Coordinator here with the Peterborough and the Kawarthas Chamber of Commerce. All local candidates have been invited. There's no acclamations, I don't think, in this township, so every position is up for grabs tonight, and people have added their positions on there so you know what they are running for. This event tonight is also in partnership with Peterborough and the Kawarthas Home Builders Association, so thank them for their support. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that though we're meeting virtually, the land we're speaking from and discussing tonight is the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nation, which include Alderville, Beausoleil, Curve Lake, Georgina Island, Hiawatha, Rama, and Scugog Island First Nations. We offer gratitude to the First Nations for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings.
Miigwech.
So we are hosting in total this week 8 municipal election debates. This is number 4. You can find recordings of the 3 we've already been through, and following that one as well at pkchamber.ca on our YouTube. And then you can see the upcoming ones and join us if you want to find out a little bit more what's going on here in the townships of Peterborough County. So our speaking order tonight is randomly drawn. And so I think there's a couple ones I have to change on here just real quick because not everyone is here. So we have Jerry Forrestal, Adri Eastman, Carol A. Armstrong, Ed Leardom, Ira Peters, Peter Raymond, Terry Lamshett, Ann Dixon, Joe Cadigan, and Bev Matthews. And so that will be our speaking order that we'll run through. So when we start, everyone will have a time to make their opening remarks. And so the first one will be Jerry. Question number 1, then we'll go to Adri to be the first one to go through it. And we'll go through everybody on each question, introductions, that kind of thing. So we'll make sure, I'm not sure everybody will get a chance to answer a question first because we do have a lot of people here tonight, but we'll try our best to keep things as fair as we can. And so for opening statements, we've had to keep things to a bit of a minimum just to the number of candidates. So everybody has 1 minute for opening statements. And then when we get into questions, everybody will have 1 minute to answer those questions. And we'll try and keep rebuttals to a minimum. There is an option for a 30-second rebuttal if something is really directed towards another individual running for council. But again, the more we can get through and people staying on time, the more questions we can get through here tonight. So our timekeeper, you'll see a blank window and a stop clock will appear with everyone's time. So you'll get that countdown. When your time is up, I'll ring this little bell here and just try and wrap up whatever thought it is that you're on. Just being mindful of everybody having the same allotment of time. And with that said, let's get started with our opening remarks. So Jerry, you're first.
Good morning. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Forrestal. I'm running for Deputy Mayor of Trent Lakes. I've been part of the Trent Lakes community for 40 years. I'm an entrepreneur in the area. As such, I have really good present ideas going to what we're going to need to be prosperous in the near future for Trent Lakes. We as a council need to start building our community again. We need to handle municipal issues such as putting Trent Lakes back together as a whole, Galway, Cavendish, and Harvey. We need more services in our town. We need more business, more economic growth. We need to build more housing, multifamily homes, semis, townships, or townhouses. We need to have better community planning for municipal community centers, including BCC. We cannot afford to have any more wasted tax dollars and indecision and studies. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Adri.
Adri, that's okay.
Sorry about that.
And I'm running for Harvey Ward. I am hoping you will consider me to be your representative for Harvey Ward in the upcoming election, October 24th. I've been a resident of Trent Lakes for 17 years with my husband. My husband and I run a successful construction company. We also have a small, successful greenhouse business here in Trent Lakes. I have a background in banking and financial services, and as a self-employed business operator, I have learned to embrace decision-making in a timely manner. Adaptability is necessary. I understand budgets and financial accountability, balancing want and need. My vision for Trent Lakes is to enhance our quality of life, see increased prosperity, safety and security, provide a healthy environment, ensure sustainability and equality. There are many variables in elections that are completely out of our hands. Choice, chance, and luck. I hope on election day you will make the choice to give me a chance. And with a little luck and a lot of determination, I hope to be your voice at the table, making the decisions that express your views and concerns. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Carol.
Thank you and good evening. I'm Carol Armstrong, a proud resident of Trent Lakes. I was a cottager for 20 years before I decided to move here 14 years ago. Many of you know me because I've had the privilege of representing you on council this last term, and because of the quarterly newsletter I created to fill a communication void and share information about council activities with the public. The next 4 years, we need to build on the plans for replacing and consolidating roads and fire buildings, implementing short-term rental controls, expanding trails and open spaces, and enabling economic recovery and development. And we need to put laser focus on the environment and climate change, make building and planning processes streamlined and people-friendly, strengthen bylaw enforcement, and accelerate the expansion of cell and internet service. As you watch the debate tonight, I encourage you to listen for what candidates know about the issues and how effective they would be in getting other councillors to support their position. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Ed Leardon.
Thank you, Joel. My name is Ed Leardon, and I'm running for municipal councillor in the Galway Cavendish ward of the Municipality of Trent Lakes in the upcoming municipal elections. Thank you to Joel and the Chamber for hosting this candidates event. And hello to all the other candidates and everyone in attendance. My applause to you for your interest in your community. I moved into Trent Lakes in early 2015, looking forward to retiring from a long career in IT project management and consulting in all the big 5 Canadian banks, government, utilities, and communication sectors. After 4 more years of working, I retired in 2018 and live full-time now in Trent Lakes. You don't have to have lived all your life or raised your kids here, nor cottaged here all your life to develop a passion for the area. I chose Trent Lakes to live out my retirement for its beauty, its serenity, and its community. And my goal is to protect those 3 things. So shortly after my move here in 2015, I started to become aware of some of the issues that were of concern to the residents, both full-time and seasonal, and businesses also in Trent Lakes. I joined the board of my local ratepayers association and started attending the municipal council meetings to learn more about the issues and to see if I could somehow do something to help. Then in 2018, I joined the Kawartha Lake Stewards Association board, immediately taking over the role of treasurer, and in 2020, I became the chair of KLSA, navigating its activities during the difficulties and restrictions of pandemic shutdowns. KLSA continues to flourish as it carries out its mission of monitoring and reporting.
Sorry, you've gone over time by a fair bit here. Yeah, just try to keep.
Sorry, okay.
All right, Ira.
My name is Ira Peters, and I'm running for Galway Cavendish Township for the councillor. As a member of council, I will focus on key areas of concern in Trent Lakes, namely fiscal responsibilities, the environment, maintain our community centers, and improvement of roads, fair taxation, future development, and streamlined government processes with customer care. I see the face and the composition of our community changing, and we need a council that is progressive, forward-thinking, and respectful of all our residents, permanent, semi-permanent, and seasonal. Listening to your concerns will be my most important focus. This is more than building a campaign. It's about helping to build and strengthen our community. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Peter.
Hello, everyone. My name's Peter Raymond, running for Harvey Ward. I've lived in Trent Lakes for 30 plus years. I started out as a cottager in 81 and became a permanent resident in 1990. It was a quality of life decision. I've worked as an information technology professional in the financial services sector for major corporations in Canada and North American based. I've retired now, but active volunteer and member. Present positions, I wear many hats, director of several boards, chair of the food bank, vice chair of the public library, and vice chair of the Author Conservation Foundation. Former positions, I was a councillor for Harvey Ward in 2014, president of the Buckhorn Community Centre, vice chair of the Conservation Authority, and chair of the Parks and Rec Committee and the Environment Committee for Trent Lakes, and the Scout leader, and got the last Chief Scouts going through in the mid-90s. I ran for mayor in 2018. Since then, I've been a caregiver for my parents. Sadly, my father passed away in April. My mother just passed away last week. That's a part of life, but we're all good. Thank you very much.
So you're allowed to wrap up your last bit that you're saying when I interrupt you here. I'm just trying to keep things moving. So next up, Terry.
Yes, thank you very much to the Peterborough and Kawartha Chamber of Commerce for hosting this. I think this is a great event, so I hope we all get our say. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm running for mayor of this municipality because it's my passion. This is my life. I live here. I was born here. I've raised here. I've raised my family here. I have many friends and family that do live in this municipality, so it's a very important part of all our lives. I think that everyone in this municipality, we're all a vital part of this community, and we need to work together to keep this community the best it can be for all of the residents of Trent Lakes from now and into the future. And that's going to be involving, we need to get some greenhouse gases under our control, because if we don't, our future is not going to be as bright as it is right now. So, if I'm elected, I will ensure that we have a transparent and a productive council that is fiscally responsible. I will personally strive to communicate with all the people of all ratepayers in our municipality. Doesn't matter whether you're seasonal, permanent, part-time, we're all residents of this municipality, and we should work together to make it the best it can be. We need to urgently work with our building department to try and streamline some of our permit issues. We're behind. We know we're overwhelmed with permits, and that seems to be a very common concern with our municipal residents, that there's big delays in that. And thank you very much for everyone for being here.
Thanks so much. Anne. Oh, you're on mute.
Didn't unmute. Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. I wasn't prepared to be on camera tonight. My name is Ann Dixon. I'm running for councillor at large. And like Terry, I have a passion for politics, and I want to contribute to the community. This is something I've wanted to do for the last 15 to 20 years, and now I have the time as a retired insurance broker. I don't have any prior experience in politics, but I do have experience dealing with corporate people on a day-to-day basis with my prior employment. There's a lot of issues I hear going on in the township that I would really like to be a part of, and hopefully I can make a difference. I've been a business owner in Buckhorn, so I know all the problems that can arise from being a business owner. So I'm on that side of the fence. But like everyone else, I would really like to contribute to my share of what I can do in the municipality. The main thing is the community centers, all 3 community centers, maybe 4, that we can hopefully get involved with. Not sure what else to say that everyone else hasn't said.
All right. Thanks so much. Joe.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Cadigan, running for councillor for Galway Cavendish. A little background on me. I'm retired as a captain from the Peterborough Fire Services with 34 plus years of service. I was a volunteer firefighter for Galway Cavendish, then Trent Lakes for 30 plus years. I grew up in Innismore, where my family owned and operated the resort and the family farm. I have been living in Ketchcoma since 1995 as a full-time resident, raised my children here, and now my children are raising my grandchildren here. So I have a vested interest in what goes on. As others have said, for that reason, I'm looking to have an impact representing the ratepayers of this area. As a counselor, I look forward to representing ratepayers by making decisions based on facts and common sense. I support the fitness facilities for all ages. I support protecting the environment, lakes and forests. I'm looking forward to lifting spirits post-COVID. In Cavendish, we like to have a lot of potluck dinners at our community center.
Gonna get you to wrap up, Joe. Sorry. Okay. Lot to get through here. Bev.
Good evening, everyone. I've been on council for 24 years, 20 as a Harvey Ward councillor and 4 as the mayor. I've been a candidate in many elections, and this election seems to have a lot of issues. So I hope that as soon as we're all together, if we're all successful, then we can tackle these issues. I moved to Trent Lakes in 1981 to buy a tourist resort, Trails End Lodge on Pigeon Lake. I've been involved in tourism business for 37 years. My most recent business, Last Resort, was a cottage rental and bed and breakfast. I'm a retired elementary school teacher. I worked for the Hamilton Wentworth School Board and Trillium Lakeland School Board. I have the time and experience to run for mayor. I can make decisions. I'm a hard worker. I usually have perfect attendance and I'm punctual. If I go on a holiday, I make sure I don't miss a council meeting. Running for council is a very serious job. And my mantra is, and always will be, we try to do the right thing, not the political thing. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Ed Dewhurst.
Hi, my name's Ed Dewhurst. I'm running for deputy mayor for the Trent Lakes Municipality. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in. It's time for a change for the better. I am by no means a politician. I am honest. I have a strong voice. I've lived in Trent Lakes for 40 years, being married for 36 to my wonderful wife, Lori, raised 2 children, and run a successful business here as a professional home builder. I've always striven to build homes that would last for generations. I want to be part of your journey as we build a better Trent Lakes community for the future. I believe we need to innovate, compete, and challenge ideas free from excessive municipal control. I support growth as long as our nature and our natural resources are protected and preserved. I will work hard to bring more accessible healthcare to our community for our seniors and our children. This is not a job for me. This is a cause that I truly believe in.
Thanks, Adam.
And I can't do it alone.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone. That's our introductions here. We're going to get into our questions. And just as a reminder to everyone that's watching here tonight, that questions can be submitted through the Q&A. I have a long list of my own questions here that have come from the business community, the community at large, submitted through our website and that. But we welcome some questions to come through. We'll try and get through as much as we can tonight. So question number 1, and our questions tonight largely relate to current business issues. So question number 1, lack of access to housing is creating difficulties for businesses to recruit staff. What are the next steps to increase access to housing? And so our first up is Adri.
Yes, thank you for that question. I've been watching some of the issues on the housing, and I think our zoning will have to I don't want to say challenge, but we'll have to look at our zoning so that we can incorporate tiny homes. Tiny homes are really important so that we can bring affordable housing to young families who in turn will want to develop here, want to apply for jobs in the municipality, and in turn support us. I think that our zoning is definitely an issue, and we definitely have to look at the tiny home issue. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Ed Leardom.
Thank you for the question. Yes, housing, affordable housing is a very big concern to a lot of young families trying to make a living and raise a family. I'm not sure how best we can develop housing that people can afford. I think we need to look at, as was said before, zoning. There's some issues around that. Being able to provide easy permits to build. The cost of materials is an issue as well. So with perhaps some funds coming from various granting organizations, we could go ahead and build some affordable housing for these young folks to be able to come here, live here, work here, raise their family.
Thanks so much. Ira.
That's a good question. The best thing I can think of would be the zoning for the small homes and low rental or geared income housing. I would suggest that that Habitat for Humanity work with the local construction company owners to assist with the building process, so it's not so expensive in the end, so that young people can afford a home. There's really no reason why a home costs $1 million, if you have enough volunteers and enough people interested in building them. So I think as long as we move in the direction that we want to provide homes, we will. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm just going to throw in here quick. If anybody needs a question repeated at any time tonight, feel free to ask me to repeat the question. So Peter.
Yeah, I think we've got to be very creative. Habitat is one solution. There may be some other grants available, either from the province or from the federal government. I've looked at tiny houses and also converting sea containers that provide opportunities there, as well as the zoning options that have been mentioned already. Thank you.
Thanks. Terry. You're on mute, Terry.
There we go. Yeah, we need to rezone some properties so we can have readily available lots to build whatever size or type of home that you want. I mean, it's difficult to build a home if there's no lots available to build on. We need to lobby with our federal, provincial, and the county to try work together to be available, make some lots available and some houses available for whatever style of income, but some reasonably priced homes. It's very difficult for most people to start a home today. And that's we need that province and the county to help with that. So, and I think that's something important for Trent Lakes to do too. I think it's we have very few open vacant lots in this municipality, and we need to produce some more. And there's lots of areas that we can do that in. So I think that's our next step.
Thanks. Anne.
Did you say Anne? Sorry.
Yeah, you're next.
Sorry about that, Joel. Yes, for sure, we do need more affordable housing. I'm not sure how we can do that other than sever more lots off farm property, so families can build on that property, and not having a time limit on when we can sever that property. Working with Habitat for Humanity, I do have a home on our road here where I live. And it's just a small home. It's almost like a tiny home, but it's working well for that family. And I think allowing people to have basement apartments as well, and rent out the bottom of their homes could free up some affordable housing for families.
All right, thank you. Joe.
You're welcome.
Hi, pardon me. On the county master plan, I believe the Ketchcoma is designated as an area for a subdivision, which is only on that map that I'm aware of. And there are some houses starting to be built. This particular subject is near and dear to me because my son, who works in the area, is trying to buy his family a house, and with rates and everything going up, trying to find a house with very limited options is difficult. So I look forward to any solutions offered.
Thanks. Bev?
Thank you. I was watching a program today that showed tiny houses with silos and then sea containers on each side, like cut in half. I thought, what a great idea. I think that if we could have subdivisions of tiny houses, that's a thought, and lighten up on some of the restrictions of severances. It used to be 2 severances for waterfront, 2 in the rural area. And then you'd have to wait 15 years to apply again. So perhaps those things could be eased up, and there should be a lot of rural land that could be built on. And this would be a huge help to people that are trying to start a family and get a job. And it's our way of helping the businesses, because then workers can come up, live up here, work up here, and it's a win-win situation. So I hope we can do something very soon.
Thanks. Ed Dewhurst?
Yes, I believe that we need to make a plan. And if we're going to start doing affordable housing and building more buildings, as a builder for 40 years, there's so much land out there that is taken up by Kawartha Conservation, the municipality itself, and we need to sit down, make a plan, and lease up a lot of this property. Then we can build affordable housing for new people to come and for our young people to stay here. That's them. They're our future. Our young people are our future, and they need to be able to build homes here and stay here. Other than that, I'm with everybody else. It's a problem. Thank you.
Thanks. Gerald?
Yeah, thanks, Joel. Always fun to go last when everything's already been said.
No, sorry, that was Gerald, not Carol. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree that everybody said everything so far. I believe that the land is the issue. That's the first bridge we have to cross. We have to open up some more land in order for us to provide spots for people to build. I think we also need to be very much aware that whatever we build, like it needs to be multifamily, and it also, if it is a single family dwelling, that we should be allowed the footprint to be a little bit smaller, so then that way they can afford to actually build it, because the cost of, I know I'm in construction as well, the cost of materials is through the roof. So we need to try to help in any given context that we can to do so. So I know there's like another bill coming that I read about, I think it's Bill 109, Making Homes for Everyone Act. I know that's coming down, and that is supposed to be helping with the infrastructure to get some of these homes off the ground for these younger people. And we need the younger people in order to support the businesses like ours, and probably Ed's as well. I can't find anybody to work, so it makes it very difficult for us to grow as a township. So this is probably one of our first fundamental problems. Thanks.
Thanks so much. All right, so that's question number 1. Going to go to our second question here of the night.
Joe, you did miss me. Sorry, Joel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Carol, I apologize for that.
That's okay. I really wanted to go last. Okay, so first of all, the province, you're right, Jerry, there is a new bill around housing. And in fact, per the provincial direction, the new official plan that's been prepared at the county level includes provisions for affordable housing. The next step is for the municipality to revise their bylaws that are in alignment with that new official plan. So to Adri's point, yes, we do need to revise our bylaws. It'll be a requirement, and that will ease some of the burden. But The answer is a blend of things. First of all, it's not a municipal problem. It's a problem for us. It's a problem at the county. It's a problem for the province. And we need to solve it together in a collaboration with one another. The answer will be a combination of secondary suites, tiny houses, using programs like the Canada Home Share Problem, which pairs seniors with younger people. So it will have many facets to it. The one thing we do need to remember is that about 80% of our property is waterfront, and many of our lakes are at capacity. So we really are constrained in where and how much we can expand, and need to look for creative solutions.
All right, thanks. I apologize. I have you on my list here, and I'll try and make sure that we get to you appropriately on the next one. So our second question of the night is, what are your infrastructure priorities for the township? And Carol, actually, you are the first one to start this one.
That's a pretty broad question. Well, to start with, I think all of us know that we are at a disadvantage for development because we really have zero service lands. There's been some discussion about looking at bringing that into the town of Buckhorn, because that is kind of our one centralized area. I think that needs to be pursued a little bit further. In terms of municipal infrastructure, we do have a 10-year plan to replace most of our public works and fire halls because they're outdated. Their energy is inefficient and they're not functional. They're not even large enough to hold some of the newer trucks, which are larger, et cetera. So that plan is in place. It's going to cost about $12 to $15 million for the municipality, and that's already started. Beyond that, I think we've talked about Parks, Recreation, and Culture Plan, which will expand our trails and our open spaces and create more recreational opportunities for our residents.
All right, thanks so much. Ed Leardom.
Ed Dewhurst.
Thank you.
No, sorry, Ed Leardom.
Can we start the clock again? Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's Carol mentioned a few that I have on my list in my mind of that need attention. The public buildings, the public works in particular. Community centers are falling apart in some cases, are outdated, and need to be revitalized, if not rebuilt. And I'm hoping that we can incorporate some green space in our building plans to do that. There's already work underway, as Carol mentioned, so that's good. But yeah, there's a lot of work to do. It's going to cost a lot of money. I think road maintenance is a huge issue, not only throughout the winter. Actually, I think I'm hearing that the plowing of the roads are in good shape, but it's the aftermath, it's the spring breakup of the roads that are really an issue, and to be able to repair them in a timely fashion is a big issue. So I see I'm running out of time. Thank you.
Thanks. Ira.
If you don't mind, could you just repeat that question for me, Joel, please?
Yeah, absolutely. What are your infrastructure priorities for the township?
I believe that the community centers is a good one. Better communication between hall and public, utilize facilities more often, install gyms and workout centers in those community halls. Utilize outdoor space, keep our halls well maintained, and try to extend blacktop further every year as part of our road maintenance expense would be a good one. Other than that, I think I would have to, end my answer there because I could go on for about 2 hours. So I'm going to end it there, and I'm sure there's going to be other good answers for you, Joel. Thank you.
Appreciate that. As much as I love the 2-hour answers, keeping it within the time is great. Peter.
Thank you. So there is a plan, as Carol has mentioned, to upgrade our infrastructure in terms of facilities, community centers, fire halls, etc., over the next 10 years, which is going to be a significant investment to make us sustainable till, I believe, 2030. We also need to factor in making sure that the infrastructure is climate change adaptable, because these storms are going to be continuing. And with these extended power outages that we've been experiencing, we need to ensure that we've got some coverage there as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Terry. Oh, you're on mute.
That darn button, I forget it every time. The facilities master plan, we have a 10-year plan to replace our public works departments, our fire halls, our community centers. And I think when we do to replace our community centers, we should have some recreational areas in them. And I think that's a great idea that everybody seems to be thinking of. We have a community improvement plan for the little town of Buckhorn, and I think that should be expanded to all the other areas. Like we have part of Burley Falls, part of Kinmount, we have some areas in Cavendish, we have part of Bob Cajun. So we need some community improvements, and that is it's funded by some municipal funds to assist with some of that. And I think those are important things to keep our municipality connected. And I think that's what we need to do, is keep us all connected. Thank you.
Right. Anne.
Well, I agree with Terry and Carol, and I, for one, I'm really big on recreation and the trails, as Carol mentioned as well. And but the recreation, the Buckhorn Community Center, Cavendish, all the community centers, I think need to be upgraded from what I've seen, and that is one of my focuses if I do get elected, and I would like to see some changes there. And the roads as well. I've noticed some of the roads are getting a little torn up around the area. And I think that we need to look at that as well. Not really sure what else to say on that. But I agree with everyone on what they were saying as well.
All right, thanks so much. Joe.
Yes, I agree with everybody else with the building upgrades, the road maintaining. More locally, we have a lot of cottage roads in Cavendish and Galway. Some aren't up to municipal standards, and I would like to see more of them upgraded to municipal standards so that they can be maintained. I would like to see a community safety zone through Ketchcoma. It's been promised, but hasn't happened yet. We have lots of events happening at the Cavendish Community Center, at the fire hall, where cars are flying by at 100 kilometers an hour with people trying to access. So those are some of my ideas.
Thanks so much. Bev.
Thank you. I like Joe's idea of the safety zones. They're perfect. They work well in other areas, and I'm sure they could work well in your area. I think we need to always be improving our roads. It's a link for everything. And if we don't, I know they're expensive, but if we don't put money aside every year and do some road, then we're going to fall behind. I would also like to see the completion of the Central Road Depot, now called the Mechanics Facility. We've put a lot of money into plans. That building is already going to cost us twice what it would have cost 5 years ago. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us for sure. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Ed Dewhurst.
Yes, I believe what Bev just said about the buildings and our community centers and everything need to be upgraded because they are for our children and us also. The new depot that Bev was talking about is, I've heard we spent a lot of money on that already and nothing's actually started. So this stuff needs to get started and use our tax dollars going towards something steady instead of, I've heard we've been spending money on roads too, that surveys and different things like that, that we haven't started yet. So infrastructure is a big thing. And I agree, roads need to be fixed too. There's been some bad accidents, some lives taken on some of our roads, and they need to be fixed. Thank you.
All right, Gerald.
Yeah, I believe too, the infrastructure does need to be revitalized. The public buildings, the community centers, and the fire halls. When and if we get around to doing this, I think we need to really investigate a net zero building if we can. And when we actually get together as a community as a whole, we'll be able to understand the needs and wants of all these different community centers. I believe that we need to have a pinpoint person on that. So then that way we get a clear understanding of what we need to do in order to make our Trent Lakes a community again. I think we need to develop economic development down in the hamlet and have those tax dollars come through to the rest of the municipality through that we all benefit from that, from Galway to Cavendish to Harvey Ward. And we got to look at each individual ward as to the needs that they need at the immediate presence. So for an example, like Galway needs more asphalt down for their roads. Harvey needs needs economic development in the hamlet in order for us to capture some of the economic development from the lock. And then in Cavendish, in Cavendish, we need to make sure we do take care of the people in Cavendish and create these safety zones like Joe Cadigan had to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Adrian.
Yes, thank you. I think we have a responsibility to be fiscally responsible with the basic necessities to our community, and that includes public works and fire halls that have been waiting for 10, 15 years to get completed. There's lots of ideas and nobody's acting on them. So I really think that's important. Some of our fire trucks don't even fit in our halls. It's hard to anticipate how we're going to move forward with other infrastructure when we can't supply water and sewer to our community. And that's unfortunate. It's very expensive, and possibly it's something to look at in the future. But at this point, we have to be fiscally responsible for our taxpayers. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's question number 2. So this next question is something had several people submit it ahead of this debate. So it's obviously a topic near and dear to a few people. So in some parts of the township, short-term rentals are a growing point of conflict and controversy, but also present opportunities. What is your plan for the growth of short-term rentals? And first, I have Ed Leardom.
Thank you, Joel. Yes, very, very polarizing issue. I believe everyone is entitled to peace and respect in their community, but I also believe people should be able to earn an income. I will work with the municipality to work on bylaws and an equitable solution to hopefully satisfy the community on all sides. Having said that, I believe that short-term rentals as a business needs to be managed as a business, needs to be permitted, managed, taxed accordingly, and people need to be around for if there's issues with renters causing trouble. Loud parties are an issue in some areas with some people, and people they need to be enforced basically. So like a strike 1, 2, 3, you're out kind of a thing would be something that I would like to see put in place for the owners of these short-term rentals if there's issues with them. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, Ira.
This short-term rental seems to be an ongoing process and an ongoing question that comes up repeatedly. So obviously it's of concern, but I believe that the owner of the property should vet their own property. Being a good neighbor, I mean, if your next door neighbor is having a party and they're loud, you should have the opportunity as a good neighbor to go over and say, do you mind keeping it down? I believe that what we need to do is to implement a complaint reporting system if there is a complaint, because we don't even have an exact number at this point in time as to how many complaints are we talking about. So I would say implement a complaint reporting system to the municipality. Let the owners of the property vet their own people that rent their property. if you're running it as a business and you have 25 or 30 cottages, then absolutely you should follow the bylaws set as a business. But as an individual owner, it'd be pretty hard to say who's renting, either Joe next door, your cousin, or your brother. Anyway, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Oh, I'm on mute this time. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you. So we've got a balanced, phased approach that the township have come up with. This year in education and reviewing the bylaws, and next year is looking at doing some additional tweaking of the bylaws as well as enforcement. Enforcement is the big challenge for our township because of the geography. I'm wondering if drones might be another option to use for finding out what's going on there. The other thing is short-term rentals is not unique to Trent Lakes. This is happening right across Canada, both in urban as well as in rural areas, and everybody's got their own particular issues. And it's unfortunate that a small number of bad actors spoil it for the majority that are abiding by the rules and regulations and good neighbors. Where there's corporations that are renting out cottages, they're the ones that we need to address and get them licensed and get them taxed. And the township is also tracking and any complaints as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Terry.
Found that button this time. Yeah, we need to educate the people that are renting their cottages out, make sure that they understand the problems that they're creating for their neighbors and their friends. And that's the step number one. And that is part of the plan. Then we need to improve the bylaws to make sure that we do have some controls over what is going on. And then if the controls that we put in place don't work, we need to enforce those bylaws. And some of these rentals are businesses, and they should be treated as businesses. They should be taxed as business, and they should be held accountable for the problems that they're creating if they create problems with the neighboring shoreline residential properties. And we have to remember that many of these rental places are shoreline residential properties that are right beside other shoreline rental people. And we can't have one person destroying the environment for many, many other people. So, and I think number one is to let's find out how many times this is happening. We need to track this, and we need to track it properly. So that's something we have to do. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Anne. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Anne, sorry.
Okay. Oh, there I go. I'm aware of the problem. It's been an ongoing question for me since I've decided to run for councillor at large. I do believe that the cottage owner, or the short-term rental or home owners should be responsible and accountable for the people that he does rent to. And I agree with Terry, there should be bylaws put in place for these short-term rentals and fines issued. And if they don't pay the fines, then maybe add it to their tax bill at the end of the year. There's got to be a way to stop it. I think if they know there's consequences at the end of the year, they may think twice about who they rent to. And I think that's what it's about. It's who they're renting to. And I think if we can look at that a little bit closer, maybe that might rectify a few of the problems. But it's a tough one, and it is a business. It's you know, if they're renting out on a weekly basis, it becomes a business, and it has to be treated as a business. So I'm not sure what we can do on that end of it, but
thanks, Anne.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, Joe.
Yes, I feel like most of it's been covered, but my points would be a lot of my neighbors and family rent cottages that they own. Usually it's no problem, especially with long-term rentals like year after year. I think the problem occurs when it's non-resident owners that are running it as a business, as has been said, and then it's noise and overcrowding issues. Well, I believe noise is a bylaw that needs to be enforced. So I guess that falls on us. I don't think OPP are going to respond. My point.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Bev.
I think we all agree that the short-term rentals aren't the ones that we've been used to in the past, where someone has a cottage and they rent it out for a few weeks here and there. That is not the issue. It's the absentee owners that buy a cottage sight unseen, and then they run a commercial business from it. And they run this commercial business just like a hotel. You know, it might be a couple of small vans pulling up, lots of people in the cottage. It's stressful on the septic system. They don't care about the neighbors, how much noise they make, because they don't live there. They don't have a vested interest in the property. And those are the people that we need to track, get them to pay a fee, penalize them when they don't follow the rules, and make life so much easier for our residents, our long-term residents. That's who we've got to protect. Thank you.
Thanks. Ed Dewhurst.
Yes, I believe what Bev just said there, mentioned. It is a business, and I believe bylaws need to be put in force. And there's a couple right here by me, for instance, and you know, there's 20 people there a night, so their septic systems can't hold up. But there are bylaws in other municipalities and that allow, you know, 2 per bed room. So that's, you know, if it's a 2-bedroom, it's 4 people. If it's 3 bedrooms, it's 6. So we do need to address these, and let's go beside the neighbor now, because I have cottagers that live here full time and they're just as noisy. So it's back and forth. You know, it's a no-win situation as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, we need to put in bylaws. I put up with fireworks every weekend, and I thought we already had a bylaw on fireworks, but apparently it's not working out too good. So yeah, let's work on it together.
All right.
Thanks.
Adrian.
Oh, okay. I agree with everybody. I think education is key, and this issue is county-wide. Everybody is allowed to have enjoyment of their property. I think we need a registration system. And I even think about a watchdog system where cottage associations can actually call into the bylaw officer, and they can do it anonymously, because I have so many people call me and say, if I complain, I might as well put my house or my cottage up for sale tomorrow. And they're worried about that. And you don't want people to feel that they're in this incriminating situation. So I think if it's a business, it definitely needs to be taxed as a business, but I think a watchdog system might be part of a way of helping the bylaw officer. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Carol.
Thank you. So yes, it's a very complex issue, and it does create some very polarized opinions on it, largely whether people view it as a problem or a big problem or not. It's interesting to note that the province of Quebec introduced a licensing system across the province. So it's a system that applies to every municipality, which makes it a little bit easier for enforcement. Ontario has left it to each individual municipality, which is now creating this patchwork of different regulations, which makes it, you know, difficult for residents and easy for the people who want to buy up properties and run a short-term rental business where the rules are basically lax. So no, it's not the people who rent out for a couple of weeks to offset the costs of maintenance and taxes. It is the people who do it as a business. And we do have a plan which will be phased, and it will escalate. So the first year, as Peter mentioned, is education and working with people. The next one is to, you know, beef up the enforcement. And the third year, because this is the only way to hold the owners accountable, is to go to licensing, and the criteria around that still have to be worked out, because that's really the key to the whole thing.
Thanks, Carol. All right. So we've had a few very specific questions. We're going to shift a little bit more broad and visionary here. This question's coming in from the Peterborough and Kawarthas home builders. And the first up to answer this will be Ira. And again, I can repeat questions as we go through. How do you see your township growing and developing over the next 4 years? And I know this is a big question and people could talk for a long time, so try and sum this up as best you can in a minute. So Ira, you're first up.
I would think that it's getting your permits in a timely manner would be a good solution to part of the question. But better two-way communication, email, phone between municipality and public ratepayers regarding the major expenses, building tax and clerk office. There's a lot of questions that builders in general really are looking for the answer that they cannot seem to find readily available dealing with the municipality at this point. I suppose if you do enough homework, you can find it, but it should be readily available through the municipality to answer all questions, and that would certainly help and speed up the process. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Peter.
Thank you. Excuse me. Sorry, could you repeat that question again, please?
Yeah, absolutely. How do you see your township growing and developing over the next 4 years?
Okay. All right. So there have been some challenges I've been hearing in regards to our building and planning department. And I think there needs to be a review of the process, the permit process, service levels, customer service, make it more customer friendly and business friendly, and look at the timelines and giving feedback in terms of the status of the applications, because everybody's on the dime for their contractors and they need to know what's going on. Also to advise prospective buyers in the area if there are developments in that particular area, such as quarries, to make those clients aware of these developments before they make their purchase decisions. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Terry.
Yes, we've watched our municipality grow significantly over the last couple of years, and it doesn't seem like that's going to slow down. So we have to be ready. We have to make some areas in our municipality available for both commercial and residential properties to move forward and develop. And then that in turn means we need to streamline some of our building permit issues, make sure that when people get back to the person that's trying to build a house or build a cottage or build a commercial business with all the appropriate information that they need at the beginning of the permitting process, because it seems like it doesn't happen at the beginning all the time. So we need to make sure that that happens, and I'm sure we can work with our building department and make that happen. I think that's something that's quite easily done. We need to communicate better. The municipality, all of its staff and its council needs to communicate better with all our ratepayers groups, whether they're cottage road groups, lake groups, community groups. We need to communicate better with all of our ideas. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Anne.
Well, I from what I'm hearing, I think we need to, like Terry said, streamline the building permits a little and speed things up, and try and promote, people building homes in our area. I know for firsthand that some people that I know are waiting for building permits, and I think that's one way we can progress a little faster. Not sure what else I can say about that, but I'm new at this, so I'm not really involved with a lot that's going on in the township at the moment, but I would really like to see all three municipalities start building more buildings and businesses in the area. And I'm hoping to see that in the next 4 years, whether it be Kinmount here, Cavendish, Galway. I would like to see some changes.
All right, thanks. Joe.
we go. Yes, I would like to see subdivisions. I don't know how we start that process. I guess we need somebody with money to come along and want to build. But in the next 4 years, there's demand. So we're going to have to figure out how do we come up with supply. As has been said, streamlining or reducing red tape at municipal level can certainly help this process. Being new, as Ann said, I'm not really sure what I can do at this point. Look forward to learning though.
All
Thanks.
right, thanks so much. Bev?
I think that things have to change an awful lot in order for us to see our township grow. We talk about subdivisions. I recall 2 subdivisions. One was at Flynn's Corners. Another one was off of Riverside Road in Bob Cajun, where it becomes Trent Lakes. And both of those developers put a lot of money into the work, and they had to stop. It was just breaking the bank because the hoops were so big for them to jump through. And those are just a couple that I know of personally. And I think it's criminal when that happens. People come to build, they go to the building department, they want help. They've just gone to the bank, found out how much it's going to cost them to build this house. They're scared. And they need someone to take them by the hand, if you wish, and guide them through the process and be gentle, not act like, oh, sorry, you didn't do this right. You got to take it back home and, polish it up a bit. It's a scary process. And I think if we want to encourage builders, we have to help more and not act like, it's just the best place to build, because I think that that's not happening anymore. It used to be, but I think builders are getting fed up.
Thanks, Bev. All right, Ed Dewhurst.
Yes, here's my thoughts as a builder. First of all, let's not blame Trent Lakes Building Department on all this, because I think they've done a fantastic job over the years. COVID came into effect 2 years. It just stopped everything. It's gone now. We're getting back to business, but we need to, like they said, come up and reduce. So we've got so many things that hoops you have to jump through to get a building permit. And builders are just frustrated. People are frustrated. So, and it all comes like all different scenarios. It's everything. It's not just the building permits. It's everything from the get-go, from the time you start. So I believe we can all work together, and yes, we can get some housing going and get things going, but our building department needs a little bit of help too. I think they're short-staffed. So I think we should all sit down and make another plan and get things rolling good. So,
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Gerald.
Great, thank you. I'm going to take a little different approach to this. COVID actually drove. Can you hear
Sorry,
me?
I've got Gerald on here next. Sorry, I'll try and say it.
Oh, sorry, I keep hearing Carol when it's
That's all right.
Gerald.
I've
So
got
you
you,
and
and then
I have to get sorted out here.
I've got you, then I've got, sorry, I've got Gerald, Adri, Carol, and Ed Leardom yet to speak to this in that order, so.
Yeah, my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I also agree with Ed Dewhurst on this one. The building officials are doing the best that they can with COVID. Most building areas, doesn't matter where you are in the province, are struggling. I think we need to have a communicative council and a collaborative one to try to help them sort out their logjam. I also think that, from the people that I've talked to, that definitely there is problems with the way the customer service end of this is. It can be very cumbersome. They throw up a lot of roadblocks. They don't tell you all the roadblocks in the permit process. I think we need to streamline the customer service area of that. And I think we need to support our staff better. I just feel like our staff didn't have a really comfortable council the last time. And nothing really got done for those 4 years. So I'd like to think that when this new crew of councilmen people get in, that we might be able to fix some of these issues and get this township working together as a community again. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Adri Eastman.
Oh, how are we going to see the township grow and develop? Well, we need to support the community improvement plan. We are post-pandemic, so we need to attract more business, keep the business that we have and support the business that we have. We need strategic thinking and planning. I'm excited to support our new economic development, tourism and recovery plan. We need to utilize areas like the Peterborough Kawartha Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Committee, the Peterborough Kawartha Economic Development Committee. They have the knowledge, they have prioritization, and they have sponsorships. We definitely need to lobby for better internet. I think that we should still continue with tri-county meetings with Selwyn and Curve Lake so we can support each other and share these thoughts. And I think we need to support and advertise the new Harvey business area that is across from the Municipality of Trent Lake's office. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Carol Armstrong.
Thank you. Sorry about that earlier. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a different tact, and Terry mentioned it. COVID resulted in a population increase up here of over 20%. And almost all of those were seasonal residents who chose to move up here full time. So we've already seen growth. It is starting to slow, and it will be slower over the next several years. The huge opportunity that I see is all of these people are coming up and need services. They need tradespeople, they need professionals. They no longer want to drive to the city to get to see their dentist or their doctor, or their chiropractor, or their financial advisor. So I think there's a huge opportunity to bring in service people to support the needs of those people. The municipality's role could be twofold. One, we certainly encourage that and incentivize it. And secondly, it may be that we look at some infrastructure, professional buildings or whatever, where these people can set up their small businesses. So I think it's very bright, and we need to seize this opportunity.
All right, thanks, Carol. Ed Leardom.
Well, sometimes it's not best to be last. Carol just said everything I wanted to say. But thank you for that. Absolutely, Trent Lakes is primarily a cottage and tourist destination area, but we've seen phenomenal growth over the past few years, and I believe it will continue to grow. A lot of people have learned that they can work remotely. They want to get out of the cities, whether or not they have a seasonal residence here or not. They're looking to move out. And this is a very, very beautiful area to come to. So I see growth. And again, what Carol said, services are needed. Most of those folks are going to be 50 or plus. And healthcare is a primary concern here. We don't have enough. I think we have more vets in the area than we do have doctors or nurses. So those things need to be those people need to be attracted. We need to build places for them to set up shop. Almost word for word what Carol said. I'm sorry. I've also heard from many people, building services needs a revamp. They're not customer friendly. Thank you. And it's been said by many. I agree with it all about the building service and the permitting. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. So our next question is, how should the township be supporting and growing tourism opportunities? And first up for this one is Peter. And again, anyone, if you need to, ask me to repeat the question.
So we've got a consultant on board right now that's working on a recovery strategy. Some of us were involved in the working session the other month, and they're bringing forward the final recommendations back in January to the new council. So I would be certainly looking forward to that, and definitely encouraging. I think the other thing here is the new council has to promote as much as possible the benefits and the lifestyle that people can gain from living and working in Trent Lakes, and use every opportunity to do that when there are interviews with the public, attending ratepayer meetings, etc. And that will help and encourage. We have a lot of volunteers across the community that do fantastic work, and they should also be applauded for supporting the township. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Terry Lamshin.
Yes, I think we need to support the RTO8 and all their initiatives, and you know, it's the province that's going to help us, and we need some help from the province for our economic recovery for our tourism. And we need to utilize the Trent Severn waterways as a part of our tourism plans. We also have a beautiful Kawartha Highland Signature Site Park, which is thousands of acres of property that is a pristine provincial park that is very underutilized. Kawartha Land Trust has many properties that we're not promoting it for tourism. And people should be coming here and going for hiking and walking and getting some exercise. And cattle, which it's another little project for active transportation. We need to lobby with the county to get implemented their active transportation plan and work together with that. And I think that those are all things that will help our tourism. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Ann Dixon.
Well, I agree with Terry on a few things as well. And I, for one, I'm all for promoting the tourism in Buckhorn and the area. You know, maybe advertise a little bit more to, you know, people from outside the area to come to this area and enjoy what we have here. One of the things we had was the wine festival that we had. It brought a lot of people to the area, a lot of boaters. I think we need to promote more for the boaters. You know, they park their boats. They really don't have anything to do other than go to a restaurant. But I think we need to have more activities in the area, whether it be Galway, Cavendish, Buckhorn, just more activities. And I, for one, would be more than happy to volunteer for some of those activities. So that's one of the things I would like to do if I become elected, is help out in that area a little bit more.
All right, thanks. Joe Cadigan.
Hello. I think that our area is underutilized for ecotourism. I would like to see more of that. I've gone camping in North Frontenac, where the municipality rents campsites around back lakes. I'm wondering if that's possible for our municipality. Yeah, again, my inexperience is speaking volumes right now. Thank you.
I'm on mute. Thanks, Joe. Bev.
I think if there was a way that we could promote a 4-season experience, that would be great. We've talked about this many times. A lot of the cottage resorts are only open in the spring, summer, and fall. And we do have a lot of tourism that we could take advantage of in the winter. However, it's hard to, the way the buildings are set up, to have their water lines underground. And I don't know whether it's the expense of it, or perhaps they're just tired out by the time they deal with all the summer people, that they just want to break themselves. But, you know, perhaps there's a way that we can look into government grants that would help some of these resorts get to be a 4-season establishment. That might help. And I agree with a lot of the other things that have been said. There's some good ideas. I think people are looking for unique experiences. They want to do something that's a little, you know, off the edge of it, and so that they can come home like Joe and tell their friends what they experienced. And I think that's what we need to look into, unique experiences. Time's up for me.
All right, thanks, Bev. Ed Dewhurst.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, tourism is a big thing, and I believe that Trent Lakes attracts a lot of tourists already. We have fishing, we have snowmobiling, biking, four-wheeling. But there is new ideas out there, and Joe said, ecotourism is a big thing now. And I believe if we can come up with some kind of plan and get that implemented into Trent Lakes, it would be fantastic. And it creates jobs for younger people too. So it's a win-win for everybody, and it's going to eliminate a lot of Airbnbs maybe, because people love to be out in the wilderness, and we have beautiful bush forests, beautiful lakes. So I'm all for that, and I believe what Joe said is a fantastic idea. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Gerald Forrestal.
Yeah, I also concur that same side with ecotourism. I never could really find a word to put a pin on it, but that's right on the money. The other thing too is, like, I'd like to see a trail system throughout the township, and that can be a way to connect us all together. Alternative transportation too as well. We'd like to see some. I'd like to see some e-bikes stationed throughout the township in order for us to try to travel. And that would be something we'd have to do probably at the Peterborough County level a little bit too, because we need shoulders on the side of roads. As also too, we also need some trails. Maybe we could work with the snowmobile clubs, and then the other thing too is if we bring some businesses to the hamlet, then we can capture some people coming into the hamlet, and then we can disperse them out from there. And also to support some festivals for all the community centers throughout the township. Maybe have one pinpoint person at the township level that can align all the different festivals that we can have them throughout the Galway, Cavendish, and Harvey, so that we can all enjoy all three and become a community again. And that's it.
Joe. All right, thank you very much. All right, Adria Eastman.
Okay, as a team of council, we need to come up with ideas. We can't do it by ourselves. We can expand on Trail Town. We can establish waypoints. We need to engage the community and the cottagers associations. We need to utilize the Economic Development Committee, educate and share ideas. We need to promote our area, and we need to sell our lifestyle because it's great. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Carol Armstrong.
Yeah, thank you. I would say four things. Bev has mentioned the first one, and that's expanding it to a more four-season type of destination and not just summer. Number two, we need to leverage our assets. Terry spoke to a number of them, the Signature Park, the Trent Severn Waterway, Kawartha Land Trust. But we also have events that we could be leveraging, like the art show that has gone on for over 20 years at the Buckhorn Community Center, draws people from all over Canada and the US. The third thing is we need to bring together the various organizations that are working in this space. So Buckhorn District Tourist Association, the RTO 8 and Trail Town, et cetera, so that we can leverage the resources we have. The final thing is promotion. We've got a lot of what we need. We just need some bigger promotion, and that means working very closely with PKED to showcase some of the things that Trent Lakes uniquely has to offer.
All right, thanks so much. Ed Leardon.
Well, once again, being last or near last, everything's been said. Carol, wholeheartedly agree with everything you've said, Adria as well. Everybody's heard of Bob Cajun and the city of Kawartha Lakes, but probably very few know Trent Lakes. And I believe the promotion that's needed isn't there to the bigger cities, Toronto, even Peterborough, all the metropolises, if you will, to attract the people here to our area. Four seasons, absolutely. We have all kinds of activities. We've got a number of gems for tourist destinations. The park is one, the Trent Severn the other. We have the Warsaw Caves. We have so many interesting areas just because of our geology, trails, and people who want to walk through the forest. We have a lot of that. So just promotion outside our area into the bigger centers, I think, is a big factor that we need to take advantage of and we don't do well. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Ira Peters.
There's a lot of good answers there. I believe that's our number one thing that we should consider is doing a reconnaissance of all these great ideas and putting them on paper so that we can really thrash them around and think about them well. But maintaining a great place to live, work, and play while respecting our environment would be good. And be leaders and set positive examples for other municipalities to follow. But mostly it'd be the reconnaissance and just do what we're doing right now is do some brainstorming, put them down on paper, and then so everybody can enjoy the new ideas. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so it is now 10 to 9. So we're already probably going to be a few minutes over time. I know there was some really good questions that came up in the chat. And I've got a much longer list of questions, and I'd love to be here for another half hour or so. But I'm going to ask everyone to do your 1 minute wrap up. And so first up is Terry Lamshed.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think my whole image here is to try and communicate better with all of our residents. I think that is the most important thing that we're lacking a little bit in, and we're getting better at it. This last 4 years, council has tried very hard to communicate better. And I think we're doing a great job. And I think Carol having a little newsletter that highlights the activities of council is a great idea. That's something that municipal council should be doing itself. Is put out after each meeting, put out a little blurb to each one of the municipal resident associations so that we can all communicate. And I think that's important to talk to each other. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Ann Dixon.
Well, I'm really looking forward to what's ahead. Should I be elected, and I'm ready to get to work, and hopefully I can contribute to the new council. Should I be elected, and I've got lots of ideas, but I just can't express them at the moment. So hopefully in a month's time, I'll be able to do that. So thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks so much. Joe Cadigan.
Hi. Again, I would just like to reiterate that I'm invested in the community of Trent Lakes. I would relish the opportunity to represent Galway and Cavendish on council. I look forward to making decisions on behalf of ratepayers that are based on fact and common sense. And looking forward to further debates. Thank you.
Thank you. Bev Matthews.
Well, I think we've listened to everyone, and we've all got great ideas for the perfect ingredients for the best tourist experience. We just need to be able to go out there and market it as best we can. But I think we've got lots of potential. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Ed Dewhurst.
Yes, I think let's work together to bring the change we need. While other candidates talk about their international education and the corporate companies that they have spent years in our community as vacationers, I've lived here my whole life. I know what we can do and will bring the change we need. I will, with your support, focus on most pressing needs of our community: healthcare, employment, environmental. Please join me today in building a better future for Trent Lakes and vote Ed for Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Gerald Forstall.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming tonight. It was very, there was a lot of good ideas spilled over here today. I would just like to say thank you to Trent Lakes as a community for myself and for my family. You've offered me so much. I only just want to give back. I want to make some solid decisions so we don't waste any more taxpayers' monies. I'd like to see us grow as a community and with full communication, collaboration with one another from all three, like Galway, Cavendish, and Harvey. We have a beautiful place. We have to maintain it and we have to grow it in a progressive manner. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Adri Eastman.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you, Peterborough Kawartha Chamber of Commerce, for hosting tonight. If I'm fortunate to be elected, I promise to be a dedicated, friendly, and responsible member of the team of council that will serve you for the next 4 years. I will be honored and privileged to serve as your representative and help to make informed decisions that define and defend the present and future of our community. I hope and ask that you will consider me a viable candidate for Harvey Ward. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Carol Armstrong.
Yeah, thanks very much, Joel, and the Chamber for putting this on. And thanks to all the candidates for putting their names forward. This is not an easy thing to do, and kudos to you for doing so. Let me just finish by saying that my vision for Trent Lakes is a vibrant, economically resilient, socially responsible, and environmentally friendly municipality. It's a fact that today's municipal government is sophisticated, complex, and dynamic. And you deserve representatives on council who have the experience and the skill set to leverage this system and get things done. Experience matters. This is especially true for the mayor and deputy mayor who sit on county council, where 39% of our tax dollars are spent. So I encourage you to support me and allow me to use what I have learned over the last 4 years to better work for the things that matter most to you. And finally, everybody, please vote. It's a privilege and a freedom, and encourage all of your friends and neighbors to do the same. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Ed Leardom.
Thanks, Joel, and also the Chamber for putting this on. A lot of good ideas has been spoken of. I believe we need to do better to serve our residents, cottagers, businesses, and visitors to our area. A lot of great ideas, a lot of topics have been covered in the last hour and a half. My primary promise is to work hard for the residents and businesses in Galway, Cavendish, and in Trent Lakes in general. Some of the top issues I believe that are specific to the area and possibly probably a lot of other areas is healthy lakes and lake water. We know that there's a concern about what's in our water and how we use it. Can we drink from it? Can we swim in it? Can we fish in it? Big concern there. Climate change in our environment. Nobody's mentioned that as an issue. It is. It affects everything. We've seen a number of storms this past year that have affected us in many ways. So that needs to be looked at in everything we do as a governing body, as a municipal council. Access to primary health care and lab services are very important to our growing population who are also in the higher age brackets, let me put it that way. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Ed. Ira Peters.
Thank you, Joel, and the Chamber for putting this on, and nice to see all the candidates and members present today. But I live here and we decided to retire here because it's always been a major root of our family name and our history for the last 130 years. But if I get selected as a council representative, I would like to help make decisions based on facts, science, and the requests of the majority of the ratepayers, then show good common sense practices that have been proven. I'm not speaking as a person that's going to accomplish anything by myself. I'm speaking of a person that's going to listen to the ratepayers, speak to everybody that has concerns, and bring it to the council for a discussion. And I hope that everybody's in the same mindset as that. Thank you, Joel.
Thanks so much. Peter Raymond.
Thank you to the Chamber for hosting this evening's event, and thanks for all the candidates for joining today. I want to make a positive contribution to benefit all ratepayers, build on relationships and explore opportunities and mutually beneficial partnerships. Thank you for your consideration on Election Day and your trust and confidence for Vote For Me. Please take the time to vote. It's your democratic right. So your vote counts. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. And recognizing that there's a lot of good questions and obviously a lot more local issues than we were able to get into tonight. And 1 minute is sure not enough to explain people's positions on some of these topics and plans that should be carried out. All of their contact information is available on trentlakes.ca. I encourage you to go there. I've emailed everybody here and they are all very much available to talk to residents and take your questions. Maybe not quite the same format we have here tonight, but please engage with your local council representatives. Tonight's debate will be rebroadcast on our YouTube channel. We'll be sharing this out on Facebook. Everything's been recorded. It'll be up on our website at pkchamber.ca. As I said before, this is one of 8 debates that we're hosting this week. So we've already got a few that are up there. And then we have 4 more coming up. So tomorrow night we have Havelock, Belmont, Methuen, and Cavan, Monaghan. And so check back at pkchamber.ca for the links and information about upcoming debates. And thank you everybody who in attendance. Thank you to all the candidates who came out and made this a nice evening of discussing local business issues. Have a good
Joel,
night.
may I make one non-political comment? It's Terry
Absolutely.
Lampstead. Yeah, I just want to congratulate Stu on his retirement, and we'll miss him on checks. I've watched him for many years. So thank you very much, Stu, and congratulations.
Thanks, Terry. Just so you know, I'm not going anywhere on checks. That's just a volunteer thing that I do. So I will continue. That's my retirement.
That's awesome.
But thank you very much. I
look forward to
appreciate it.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Echo those comments. Terry Stu will be very much missed here at the chamber, but we have his cell phone number. We know where he lives, and we will certainly be talking to him for months ahead.
Forget
Thanks
it.
everybody, and have a good night.
Okay, good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.